What's up, YouTube? Capital G here, giving you guys a quick market watch, letting you guys know what the heck is going on in the secondary market, seeing if we can save you guys a couple of bucks, or of course, even better, make you guys a couple of bucks. So this will probably be the last market watch that I do before I dive headfirst into Raging Tempest territory. And I'm not ready to jump into that quite yet because number one, the cards are not on TCG Player, so kind of the only free market online right now is eBay, and I could go by those prices, but obviously we're still kind of in the sneak peek territory, you know, the phase of like sneak peek prices and how they're commonly inflated because there's just so much demand for these cards like Raptier and just like some of the other really good Zodiac Beast cards like Barrage, but there obviously isn't a whole lot of supply. And you know, like over the next couple of weeks there'll just be more supply, and the card prices just tend to fluctuate so much from sneak peek pricing. So I just feel like, what's the point of even really covering those unless something crazy drastic happens, like a card, you know, has a sneak peek price and then it like doubles or something like that, then I'll probably cover it. But as of right now, probably not. So Dark Magician cards are going through the roof. They're shooting up, and I can't quite put my finger on why. It has nothing to do with like the competitiveness of Dark Magician. I've got the entire Dark Magician deck. I know this deck pretty much in and out. It's not like the deck has actually gotten any better. I do think that it could possibly be because of the popularity of the movie, and just, you know, if you watch the movie, you know that Yugi obviously plays like Dark Magicians, and people might just want to build this deck. Now, these are cards that were both printed as ultra rare. The cards I'm talking about are Dark Magical Circle and Magician's Navigation, and both cards are up. I think that there's a very legitimate chance they could be reprinted in the mega packs, but even then, I actually don't think that these card prices are going to plummet. Like, these have just been cards like Dark Magical Circle has never dropped below like $20 consistently. These are cards that are just going to hold their price because they are played by one of the most iconic Yu-Gi-Oh characters ever, probably the most iconic Yu-Gi-Oh player ever. So you're just going to have a lot of little kids who just always want to play Dark Magician, always look at that as like, you know, one of the most known and loved cards in the game. So yeah, Magician's Navigation and Dark Magical Circle are both up. Dark Magical Circle had a normal price of under $23, and you see right here it's over 30. So damn, basically up over $7. Magician's Navigation is up as well, not quite as much, but it was, you could basically get a value for under $19, but now it's pushing basically like $25. So these are very good cards to have. I think that if you're not playing Dark Magicians, you can easily just sell these cards. I do think they will be in the mega tins because I think they'll be high chase cards. Sage of Eyes with Blue. This is a card that I talked about on my last market watch, and I say that this is a card that you need to keep an eye on. It had the chance of going to like maybe 30. The card actually shot up to like $40, and I was like, what the freak? I didn't believe that it would get anywhere near that much. Obviously it's come down, but I still think that this is a card that if you want to play Blue Eyes, just go ahead and pick it up now, because if Blue Eyes top 8s YCS Atlanta, if it top 8s YCS Seattle, this card will probably go to about $35. I've been hearing a lot of rumblings on different websites about the Blue Eyes Invoke deck. If you don't know what the Invoked are, basically the Eidolon Beast. I've heard that deck is supposed to be legitimate, and from what I hear, Blue Eyes are supposed to have like a 50-50 matchup with like DDD. The guy who got second place at the most recent ARG said that, and I think that their matchup versus Zodiac Beast isn't all that bad because they can easily main deck Regeki and double Dark Hole. They have a lot of field clearing, and also what's it called? Return of the Dragon Lords does give them pretty nice protection from Drantia. So, or what is Drantia called in the TCG? You guys know what I'm talking about. And honestly, this is the only big money card in the Blue Eyes deck, so I think that people will be willing to pay a little more for this card. That's why I could see it going to like 35, because everything else in Blue Eyes is just like, everything else has been reprinted. So I also don't think that this is going to be on Konami's radar. It wasn't played in the movie at all, so Konami has already reprinted basically everything within Blue Eyes, and yeah, this could just be one of those cards that never gets reprinted. Like, I don't even think this card could totally not even be in the next mega pack. Cosmic Cyclone, I have no idea what the hell is going on with this card. I thought as we got closer to Fusion Enforcers, I thought that this card's price would increase, but not anything like this. I mean, damn, it's sitting at $22.50 when it had a normal price of basically $14.50. So what has caused this card to go up $8? I am not quite sure. I mean, obviously It's super good against like artifacts in general, and that's one of the reasons why I thought that the card would definitely go up in price. It is pretty good against like Cosmos, getting rid of Cosmo Town. Maybe that's why the card is starting to see play. I know that Cosmos are starting to like see a lot more success on the regional level, and this card hits artifacts and you don't have to worry about them being summoned back. But man, I'm not sure that I can condone this price. I mean, it's an excellent card against Metaphors. I get that, because you can get rid of the Metaphors fusion permanently. You can get rid of the scales permanently, but like, hasn't it always been like, it's always been a good card against Metaphors? So I'm not quite sure why it's spiking right now. I don't know. Maybe we're going to move towards this replacing things like Twin Twister, or replacing things like Mystical Space Typhoon completely because of the fear of the artifacts. That could be why, but I just didn't think that it would happen this early. I didn't think it would happen until Fusion Enforcers. Floodgate Trap Hole has gone up just a little bit over $8. Normal median price was $7.30, and I think that people might be looking at this as a kind of like a budget option to Dimensional Barrier. If you're a newer player, or you're a player who just doesn't want to spend that much money, maybe you're looking at ways to kind of stop Zodiac Beast with like traps, and you're looking at budget options that are not Solemn Strike or not Dimensional Barrier, which definitely would not qualify as budget for me. I mean, this card is kind of similar to Book of Moon. Your opponent summons the Raptier, you can essentially just put it face down forever, and you don't quite stop their turn, because yeah, there still could be other things, like they could activate Barrage, they could activate some other cards like Instant Fusion and still get things going. But for the most part, this kind of has a stun type effect against that deck. Zodiac Beasts rely on their normal summon heavily, and obviously this is pretty good against Pendulum decks. If Metaphors try and Pendulum summon, you can get rid of all their monsters, put them face down. The thing is, I think Metaphors might work themselves out of the meta. Like, I think that Metaphors would struggle against a deck like DDD if you get Titanic Galaxy and Siegfried turn 1 face up. Like, that's basically 2 spell negates, and I don't know, man, playing a Pendulum deck against a deck that can negate 2 spells like seems really, really bad. So Floodgate Trap, I think, is just kind of going up because it's a budget option for something like Dimensional Barrier. But I don't know, I don't think it's quite as good, because against a deck like Fluffles, I mean, would you rather Floodgate Trap Hole a Tiger that's going to blow up your field, or would you rather use D-Barrier when they activate Polymerization and just make sure the Tiger never goes off? But it is basically like 10% of the price, so I guess there's a little risk reward there, and money is obviously a factor. Coral Dragon has gone up a little bit. It did have a normal market price under $7, and now it's about $8. This is one that I'm like, I honestly I don't know why this is happening. A lot of the synchro decks with like Unizombie and stuff, and Omegas aren't seeing that much play right now, so I actually don't quite understand this one. I thought that something like Solitaire would be, or would come up in the search bar, because these cards kind of see play together. Same thing with like Red Resonator. But if any of you guys can explain to me why Coral Dragon is actually going up, I mean, without the obvious stuff, like, yes, I do understand it's just a good generic like synchro monster, but I don't know, maybe it has something to do with, no, I understand, I don't even want to speculate. I have no idea why it's going up. Daigusto Emerald is going up across the board. I know Jonathan Moore said that he thought that it could have been a buyout with this card, but basically every single edition of this card has super spiked. You see the Hidden Arsenal version. This used to be the dirt cheap version of the card. It has freaking doubled in price. You used to be able to get this for under $17. Now you're looking at $37. What? The Gold Series edition used to be like a $10 card. It's gone up now. It's about a $25. This is now the budget version. And then the DT version, just basically forget about it. I actually picked up one of these, I want to say maybe a year and a half ago, for I think $34, and I honestly think that the DT version, if you could have gotten it lower, somebody who has one, maybe they value it at like $40, definitely go ahead and trade for it, because I just don't see this version ever losing its value. Daigusto Emerald is going to be a good rank 4 for a long time, but I don't necessarily think that this card is necessary. Zodiac Beast, which obviously can summon this as a good rank 4 deck, they already have a mini pot of average. Like, they already have ways of recycling their cards. This is another great way, but I don't know. I mean, I personally like the ultra rare version, but I can't condone picking this up at this price, because even though it could hold it, I just don't really see, like, I don't see a way for you to make any money off of this. Like, maybe in the Gold Series versions, because if you see Zodiac Beast dominate in every single one of them, is running Daigusto Emerald, as they probably will, yeah, this card right here, this version could definitely jump up to like 35, and maybe this could jump up another 10 bucks, but don't invest in the ultra rare versions because I'm not sure it has really that much higher to actually go up in. I've never quite considered Daigusto Emerald as like a staple rank 4. The only staple rank 4s I really consider in the game would be like Castel, Abyss Dweller, and then the Utopia package. So and obviously Utopia the Lightning isn't ranked 4, but you get what I'm saying. Crystalline Phoenix, this card was up a while ago, and it still has the price of trending up. I would not touch this card. Like, I know that DDDs can make it because they play Formula Synchron, and it's pretty good against Metaphos. You can just absolutely wreck that deck. You can get rid of their skills. You can get rid of their Metaphos Fusion, which can stop them from Fusion summoning for the whole game. But the thing is, outside of Crystons and outside of DDDs, I can't find any other deck that's actually going to play this card. And it's not like we don't have tons and tons of Invasion Vengeance. So I'm not sure why anybody would want more than one copy of this. Maybe in Crystons you can summon 2, but even most Crystons only run like 1 copy of Phoenix, because the new Fusion, or excuse me, the new Synchro, whose name I totally cannot pronounce, that came out of Raging Tempest, is better in my opinion. I mean, this is an okay card. If you have these, I guess you could hold on to them in hopes that they'll do well, but even if DDDs do well, I don't see this card going above like $4. If it does, I think it'll just drop back down to like maybe 3-ish. This is not a good investment. And then the last card I want to talk about is Infernoid Onochu. So anyways, a while back when we first started seeing Infernoids do well in the OCG, this card started to go up, and I think I picked up about 10 to 12 of these, all for $1, the secret rare copies, and this card did get reprinted from Secrets of Eternity and the Mega Pack, but I think that this is still a pretty good investment. I've been talking about this ad nauseum for a while now. Even at $2.75, I think that you can afford to maybe trade for 3 copies of this, because the second Infernoid's top, I promise you, like, you've already seen Deviati hit over $20. I think that this card is going to go up. Yes, I know that there are 3 different printings. There's an ultimate rare and there are 2 secrets, but at $3, a lot of people are going to look at this card and be like, man, it's super cheap. And even if it goes to like $6, people will probably still think that's very reasonable, because I think most Infernoid players play like 2 copies of Onochu, so they'll only be paying like $12 for the 2 copies. And I don't know, man, maybe you can pick up a few of these for like $3, wait for Infernoids to top, and possibly double your money. Like, I just see this as a very good investment. I see it as a low cost and a very safe investment. And even if you do pick this up at under $3 and you have to sell it for, or you have to sell or trade it for, $3.50, just a little bit, like, you're really not losing your money. I don't know. I see this as one of the safest and best investments in the game. I picked up like 10 of them. They've basically just been sitting on my sitting in my trade binder for a couple of months now, and I'm just kind of just waiting for Infernoids to top, and hopefully the card will spike to like $10 or something like that. But it's something that I could totally see. So you guys let me know, were there any cards that I missed out on? If I did, please leave that in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. As always, thumbs up the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you have not already.